Welcome back to She Decides, the podcast where we celebrate women making bold moves, breaking barriers, and driving meaningful change. I'm your host, Staci Swiderski, and today I sit down with the unstoppable Fitz Koehler, fitness innovator, marathon announcer, and author, whose journey through breast cancer is as bold as her voice behind the mic. With a master's in exercise and sport sciences and decades in the fitness industry, Fitz has inspired thousands to get moving. But it's her no-holds-bar account of surviving cancer that truly sets her apart. From the brutal realities of treatment to reclaiming her power, Fitz shares how she turned pain into purpose and strength. This is a conversation about grit, grace, and choosing to live life full throttle on your terms. Because when she decides, she redefines everything. You know who made it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at on our She Decides podcast. I am so excited to introduce our lovely guest today. I'm really, really pumped for this. So full of energy. But welcome, Fitz Koehler, to our podcast. And please, Fitz, tell us more. Just a quick intro, and then I'm going to have tons of questions for you. So we're going to know so much about you before the end of our podcast today.
Yeah, me ad nauseum. So yeah, I'm the happiest girl alive. I'm a fitness pro. I've been in fitness for decades. I started teaching when I was 14. I have a master's in exercise sports sciences. I've been helping people live better and longer for all around the world for a very long time. I focus on mass media, TV, radio, books, magazines. I do a ton of corporate keynotes, and I'm a race announcer, and I love dogs, and I love ballroom dancing, and I love obstacle course racing, and I used to be a kickboxer and kick people in the face. And I don't know, life is good, and I'm a happy girl. Happy to be here.
Well, it's very, very apparent that you are just full of positivity, but that doesn't come without you've had a lot of hardship. So I know we're going to get into that later, and I believe that the listeners are going to just feel so energized after, listening to you, and just really a sense of like, wow, life isn't bad, right? Right?
Yeah. If you think so, you're doing it wrong.
That's right. It's like shift your mindset, right? Now, you are from Florida, correct?
Yeah, born and raised. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, and I have spent the last couple decades in Gainesville, Florida. I came to college here as a freshman. Go Gators. And
go Gators.
I moved home for a brief period, and I missed boys and beers, so I made up a fake excuse to get a master's degree, and thank God I did. But yeah, I've been here ever since.
Love the motivation behind that one.
Yeah. Boys and beers. It's a good
boys and beers. That's a good one. That's a good one. I love it. So you describe yourself as noisy and bossy and compelling. Give us a little background of that. Like, have you always been like that?
So I've always been extroverted and boisterous. And it's so funny. One of my very first jobs outside of whatever my parents had hired me to do chores, I was the birthday clown at the skating rink. And I would lead the hokey pokey. And I feel like I still, in some regard, am the birthday clown. I'm still telling people what to do, but
making the party come alive.
Yeah, that's so fun. I love fun. I love people to be happy. And, with fitness, my goal is to help people live better and longer by making it understandable, attainable, and fun. And I think the fun has to be in there so people stay committed and keep going. Because if it's boring, then why, blah. But yeah, my style is I'm not passive. It's funny. I'm writing book number 5, I just finished the manuscript for book number 5, and I have a bunch of beta readers, and some of them are my interns. So I have these Florida Gator interns, and they're great. I've said, listen, rip it apart. Tell me why the book sucks. Tell me why you hate it. Because I don't want to release this book into the wild if I sound dumb or I've had a typo or whatever. And the most common,
you want to be your authentic self, right?
Well,
that's so important.
Ding, ding, ding right there. But what the interns have been saying is you may want to soften your tone here. All of them, because you may want to soften the tone. And in certain places, I have yielded to that. I said, okay, I'm going to soften the tone. But then one of them was like, you should just do blank. And then there's one chapter called Tough Love, and I really let everybody have it. And I just said, no, I'm not pulling back, because who the F wants to hear someone who's vanilla? Lewis, if you're listening to the audiobook, do you want 10 hours of vanilla? Or do you want someone that's going to grab you and shake you and say, listen, bozo, I love you. I care more about you than you do. And if you want to be at your best because life is freaking short, let's do it now. And here's how. And
Well, otherwise,
so,
why do it if you're not going to give it your all, right? And be your true self. Like, what's the point? What is the
yeah,
point?
yeah, yeah. So, as far as the bossy and noisy stuff, it just is who I am. I
You're
can't
like,
hold
that's my
back.
personality.
Yeah, I mean, I could try, but no, I'm just not going to. And so if I also know with that, there's a certain percentage of people that are going to hate my guts and say, "Ugh, she's bossy."
That's
Okay,
all right.
fine.
But at the
Okay.
end of the day, you're a really good person. So you
Well,
can be bossy.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, and that's why I get away with it. I mean, the most common feedback I get is thank you for the brutal honesty, but I give sometimes coarse instructions or feedback, but people know it's wrapped in love, right? I get away with it because everything I do is because I love people so much and I care about
Aw.
them. And so I don't know, whatever,
I mean, those
whatever.
are the
This,
people that I would want around me. So
you think, but again, someone
please, yeah.
probably hates my guts and they're entitled to.
That's yeah. So let's talk more about your positivity of, I mean, again, I want to hear more about your cancer. Your cancer, your
Yeah.
cancer crusher, you beat cancer. And here you are just and has that played a perspective why you are so much more like, hey, you just never know, and I'm gonna live it up. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, so it was interesting. Sometimes people hit the fork in the road called cancer or some other illness or injury, and they go, "Oh, I was going the wrong way," and they pivot. And then for me, cancer just made me double down. I was born happy, just who I am, and cancer was scary. I cried every day. I still continue to do my work. I boarded over 30 planes over my home out of my hometown to go fly around America to speak or host races, and it was hard. I had 15 months of chemo, 33 rounds of radiation. I had surgery. I was basically dragged behind a horse for almost a year and a half. But even during that time, even when I thought this is awful, I thought, well, how lucky am I not to be a kid with cancer? That there was always
You're looking at
that
a whole nother perspective
there,
too. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
someone had it worse. Someone at UF Health, our hospital, there's a pediatric cancer ward. That's the bad stuff. Those kids, those parents, and for me, how fortunate to be a grown up who's so violently
Oh,
ill
I
and so
so
forth.
appreciate that
So,
outlook. That just gave me goosebumps, just that
well,
outlook on life and just like your perspective. Like it could be worse.
oh, always, always. And so, can I be? I'm not normally a vulgar person, but can I have a little language here?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
good.
This is your platform.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the people that are sitting around, they show up at the office each day bitching about traffic. I'm like, really?
You're like,
Traffic? You're going to come in and make everybody around you miserable because there was traffic or you spilled wine on the carpet? Get a grip. There are people trapped in, caves in the Middle East right now being held prisoner. And
they would
you're,
love to sit in traffic and have a job to go to and have that freedom and just listen to the radio and just
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So lighten the hell up. Even if you broke your leg, okay, and sucks, it hurts a bit, but then get on the crutches and go do your stuff, go live your life. So I'm not intolerant of pain and suffering, and I've been there, but I also have decided that pain and suffering won't dictate who I am. And yeah, cancer. I'm not one of those people who, how sometimes people go, "Well, I'm so glad I had cancer because of blank," or they're no, not
You're
me. If
like,
I could go
no, it wasn't the highlight, right?
Yeah, if I could go back, I'm blurred. If I could go back and undo the cancer card in a heartbeat, I would not have it. But I can't undo that. So I'm a more extreme version of myself post cancer because I, now I have even greater perspective and passion, and I'm so grateful for every day.
Well, you
Yeah,
faced it with that outlook, right? And then, like you
yeah,
said, you saw the children that had, like, okay, this could be a lot worse. And so now it's an
yeah.
experience that you lived, and you're like, okay, I wish I didn't have
Right.
it, but I did, and here we
Mhm.
are. You
Here we
know,
are.
I watched your video. I mean, during your treatments when you had lost your hair. I mean, you still had this sense of just love and gratitude to be here. And I think that's really inspiring. I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting. everybody takes on cancer. You just do your best. You're trying to survive whatever
Sure.
choices you make. So mine was, I chose not to wear the wig. I had actually, pre my first chemo, I went in and I went to a wig shop with my kids. I thought, well, we'll make this fun. And some sweet little lady, first she prayed on my head. I'm in the South, right? So she's like, can I pray on your head? I was like, okay, fine. And then she brought out these wigs. And then each wig just made me sadder and sadder. They weren't making me feel comfortable. They just broke my heart a little more. And I was trying to make it fun for my kids. And then I was looking, there was a rack of ponytail
How
holders.
old were your kids at the time?
Ginger was 15 and Parker was 13. So
Okay.
they were,
Okay.
they're, kids
Yeah,
and but
that's a tough
yet
age anyways. Yeah,
yeah.
teens.
And they were aware enough, if you have a 2 and 4 year old, that sucks for a totally different reason. But my kids
Absolutely. Yeah.
knew what was going on. And so, that we were trying to make the wig thing fun. I look over and there's a rack of ponytail holders and I love ponytails. I was like, so anyways, we bought a wig. I never wore the wig. They've used it for Halloween, but I just decided, you know what? The wigs are making me sad and I'm not going to allow anything else to make me any sadder than I am right now. And men don't hide their bald heads. And so I just resolved that I
You
wasn't going
just
to wear the
rocked it.
wigs. Well, you know, thank you. I did my best, but there was a lot of times where I was getting ready in a hotel room and I had to go get on a stage in front of 20,000 people. And you have no idea what the deep breaths sound like when you're like looking in yourself in the mirror going, oh, okay, now you've got to get out there and just try to be sunshine. And so
How,
I
when you're in front of those large crowds during that time, what did you feel the reaction was from the crowd when you're looking out? Do you think it was just a sense of, wow, she's really, really brave, or a mix of, wow, I feel sorry for her, or like just a mix of a lot, I'm sure. But how did you feel when you were up there on that stage?
um yeah, I mean, people are going to feel the way where they feel, and
Yeah.
sometimes my start lines, for example, if I'm at race announcing, they may go back quarter mile. So the people at the back are hearing my happy voice and they're hearing all the joy and the fun. And then they come up and they're like, holy shit, she's got a, like, what is going on here? Right. But,
I did not expect that.
whoa. Yeah. So I'm sure there was some shock and awe, and I'm sure there was some pity, which is really bothersome to me. I don't like pity. And one of the things I used to think is, okay, I mean, I was doing whatever I did just for myself. I'm not going to act like a martyr that was like to support other people. But I did know that if I have a crowd of 5,000, there's definitely a bunch of people within that crowd that are going to go bald one day from cancer treatment. And perhaps one day they'll have the courage to go bald too. They'll remember the noisy lady with the bald head. But you know what? Everybody was so kind. And even I never really told everybody how sick I was. I mean, I was a very public person. I would just say I'm fine. I all the things were falling apart behind the scenes, but my forward face was things are great. Don't pity me. And then uh, my saving grace was no matter how sick I was, I'd get on these planes and fly across the country, and my sickness was bad. It was bad. Can you imagine having a stomach bug on an airplane, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
And
I can't imagine that. No.
it was grisly at time. I would sometimes sleep on the hotel bathroom floors, but my alarm would go off at 4 and I get up and I get over to the start line. And then the second I stepped on my stages, and this happened every single time, everything that was wrong with me disappeared. Once I was with those people that I was there to serve and care for, everything that was wrong with me fell away. I wasn't sick. I wasn't suffering. I wasn't tired. I was just full force Fitz Koehler again. And I got to be
That
me.
is,
Yeah. And
thank
so
goodness you had that outlet. I mean, you had that opportunity and that's where you felt alive, right?
that's exactly right. And I can't tell you how many people said, you can't travel. You can't do this. You need to stay at home. You need to wear a mask and hide out. And that's before the whole COVID thing. And I was like,
And
you're
you're like,
I've
no,
lost
that's
your
depressing.
effing mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not contagious. I'm not giving people cancer. And I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of dying at home alone, being bored, right? I'm afraid of these beautiful, wonderful, fun, exciting events happening and me not being there.
And
And
you're not, yeah.
so
And you're not experiencing that. So you're like, yeah, you're not going to keep me off the stage. You are, yeah.
that's right. And so, that's my situation. But the message I have for the other people is whatever you do, whatever you love, keep doing that thing. And so, whether you're sick or injured, if you can't play soccer, watch it on TV, read a book about soccer, play your guitar, when things go wrong, that's when you need to lean in further into your passions. Don't let them be like, I'm sick, I can't do that. Say, I'm sick, I have to do that, because that's the thing that will allow you to feel like you,
That would be a
to
depression in
find joy.
itself. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is, I mean, that's just incredible. That mindset. Like we need to sprinkle you everywhere. So everybody
I
gets a little
try.
bit of Fitz dust. It'd be amazing. So I have a few questions that I want to make sure I get out to you because again, this is it's just so motivational. I mean, it's wonderful. But what was your biggest mindset shift during this time that you had to make during your cancer journey? Um, and how did that impact your work and your voice as a public figure?
I You know what? I didn't have a shift. Again, I just doubled down. You know what I realized, that the thing that because of those experiences on those stages where I went from sick to all of a sudden okay,
Yeah,
I realized, like, you're doing the thing that you were born to do, and stay the course, lean in, do more of this.
yeah,
So that was it. I was encouraged that I had made great decisions previously, and also. Uh, it's decision making. I had a choice. I could have had pity for myself. I could be like, well, this is the worst. And again, I cried every day. It was stressful and it was scary, but I never had pity, and I never asked for it, and I never blew things out of proportion. I just I coped, and I would get out the tears, and then I would get on with it. And uh, so yeah, I was very human about it all. I just decisions. You have the choice, no matter what's going on in your life. You can have a
yeah,
better day. You can have a better month. You can make these decisions, and that was really enlightening.
yeah. So your mindset shift was definitely more of the positive motivational. It was not the opposite where you see.
You know what happened?
Uh,
I decided. I decided.
she
She decided to
decided
be freaking happy.
she
So she
decided she is
was,
going to kick this in the ass
and she did.
and she did. That's right. How long has it been now since you've been cancer free?
So I'm officially just past May 11th. I think 5 years out of treatment. So
Well, that's amazing because it's that 5 year mark is a real milestone. So,
yeah, yeah, so much less likely to have a recurrence. So,
oh, well,
yeah,
congratulations.
I'm very grateful for it.
It always, not to go down the wah, wah, wah road, but it's like you see these so many amazing, wonderful people who are affected by whatever disease it may be or
Yep.
illness. And it's like, oh, why them?
Yeah.
But then look how you turned it around in that positive way where some people maybe they just literally cannot handle it and maybe
Yeah.
that's why they're the ones who don't end up with it. I don't know, we don't know why people get that.
So I never had the why me moment. In fact, because of those babies, cancer nearby, I always thought, well, why not me? Why not? Even though I'm a fitness
Aw.
expert and I walk the walk and I'm a vegetarian and I don't do substance abuse, and why not me? Why not me? It could be anybody. And that's some of the messaging I do in the books, is just convincing people that you control what you can when you can, right? I couldn't control the fact that I had cancer, but there were so many other factors that I could control, and I did, and it really
You're just
helped me.
you're so selfless. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
Well,
hopefully
that's
you are
nice.
very
Thank
proud of
you.
yourself. That's amazing. So how was your experience with the cancer? How has that shaped your overall, like the way you coach in health and fitness and even like being an entrepreneur? How did that affect it?
You know what? I think my focus on the mental game really increased.
Do you feel like you picked it up a notch and
Oh yeah, yeah, because I had these epiphanies at things I thought before, but then they were all of a sudden they were working for me. It was the pursuit of passions and perspective, right? Perspective became that, and perspective was always a thing for me. But then all of a sudden it was, that flashing light in my bedroom while I was trying to sleep, and it was so powerful. It was so powerful, and if you can convince people to brush off, not sweat the small stuff, you can also convince them not to sweat the bigger stuff and to
That's
just,
so true.
I
Yes.
the mindset really became a bigger factor. And it's very interesting. Like the newer book, again, I'm the exercise girl, but through experience, I got a lot to share when it comes to mindset too. So there's just so much um, influence for people to focus on that and rewire themselves. It's a
Yeah.
rewiring. You can rewire. Why
You can
not?
yeah, you can stop and change it in the next minute if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's we'll put cancer aside because that does not
Yeah.
define you, right? Let's talk
Hmm.
more about fits, right? Let's can you share more about, you said since you've been at the age of 14 really into fitness, and what is there a specific share more about your let's talk just specifically about fitness. What like, do you teach classes? I know you've done pro, right? And so share more about that.
Yeah. So I don't teach classes. I haven't worked in a gym setting in 25 years. Every single thing I do is
Did you
meant
start
for.
out teaching classes?
I
Is
did. I
that where
did.
I know
So
I read something way back, but like where you started years ago?
yeah, so my first class I ever taught, I think I was 14, right before I turned 15. I applied at the gym. So my job before that was Cinnabon. I was at the mall
It's like night
making
and day.
Cinnabons. I know. Thankfully, I had a really mean manager. Ronnie was her name, and she was so horrible. And so I quit Cinnabon and I applied, tacky. I applied at Hooters. I applied at the gym. I know. I was young. But anyhow, I
Right.
I went in and the manager said, blah, blah, blah. What do you know about fitness? And I said, well, I had my knee surgery and I went through physical therapy and I learned a lot about the human body and I really like it. And I'd been working out there to continue the rehab for that knee injury. And so he goes, well, would you be able to teach a class Friday night at 5:30? It was Tuesday and I had no certification to training. And I said, yeah, sure. And so I gave it
Let's
a
give
go.
that a
Thank
whirl.
God I'm a gamer. Why not? So I taught that first class. I told the women there's maybe like 35 ladies. And I just said, hey, my first class, I'm going to do my best. I'll take your constructive feedback at the end. And they did. They told me to be more creative with my arms and be louder, which is very funny. I was ever not loud enough, but I
You're
loved
like, I can
it.
handle that one.
Yeah. Oh, louder. You got it. And
Sure.
so I ended up teaching lots of classes, came up to UF and instantly got a job at Student Rec Center, which was a blast because I could play vulgar rap music with college kids and the windows would fog up. And along the way, I'm going to give the brief rundown. My sophomore year, summer, I worked on a cruise ship. I was a fitness director aboard the Crystal Harmony. We sailed through Europe, through Russia, Scandinavia. It was incredible. It was a
That sounds
wonderful
amazing.
experience. Yeah, and then I came home from there and there was a TV producer having an auditions for a new fitness TV show. And so I auditioned and I got hired. There was, I think, five of us. And so we would teach three at a time and we were on TV. Well, we weren't live. We were pre-recorded 3 days a week. And so through that, um, people started reaching out and say, are you Fitz? And I'd say, yeah. And the feedback I was getting from strangers, I lost 17 pounds. My back no longer hurts. You're my favorite instructor. I work out with you whenever you're on. I record it so I can work out with you when the show's not on. And so all of a sudden I started realizing that I was helping strangers. It's one thing to help the people in front of me at a gym. It was
Sure.
a completely different animal to help strangers
That you
from
have no idea. You don't know these
no.
people and they could be from anywhere. I mean, and then it's just like, I mean, clearly like you have this energy that's contagious. So and they see you and they want to keep seeing you. And I mean,
Yeah,
wow.
so that was very meaningful. I was like, oh, I'm helping a lot of people. And so, right. And then, a lot of things happened. I started kickboxing competitively and and people were doing articles on me and I eventually started writing the articles. And my very first article for it was called like Kickbox magazine or Black Belt magazine, I can't remember, but the article was called How to Kick People in the Head. And so I used my fitness expertise, how to build the strength to lift your leg, how to build the flexibility to get your leg that high, and then the strategy to do it. And so that magazine goes out, and a few weeks later, I get a handwritten letter in the mail from a guy in Kentucky who says, Fitz, just want to let you know, I read your article, I loved it, I've been training, and I finally kicked someone in the head. And I thought,
Oh my gosh, now like it's yes.
Did that guy in the head. And so I was addicted to mass media. And so that was almost an instant. I stopped teaching locally, and everything I do is for mass impact. So, sometimes it's TV news. I've done a lot, hundreds of TV news segments, local and national, and that's a productive morning. They don't pay you for that, but
But
when
the
I'm on
outreach,
that,
you don't know who the
that's it.
audience. Yeah, it's
Well,
outreach.
that's the thing is that feels satisfying. I love paychecks too, but when I'm on national news in the morning and I feel like, oh, I just taught 8 million people how to blink, it's really
And these people
satisfying to
that
me.
yes, and you're helping all these people, it's
Yeah,
and doing
yeah.
something that you are so passionate about. I
Well,
mean,
I,
you're
I
like, I don't
just,
need to be paid for this. I literally love what I do and I love helping people. And the outreach is huge.
it's incredible. It's incredible. So it's been a very long time since I've done anything in a group like that. I mean, Disney, for example, has hired me to come do cast member fitness. So I stand in front of Spaceship Earth with Mickey Mouse and lead some exercise, and a few hundred people do that. But so the skill is that's still there. But
Yeah.
my focus is on bigger picture, larger outreach efforts, and that's where I am right
So let's talk about that. So right
now.
now,
Okay.
what exactly what does your day-to-day look like?
Well, I will be gone about 30 something weekends this year to announce races. So running events, both major road races. So next week I'll be in Fargo for the Fargo Marathon. I just came home from California with the OC Marathon. And then this summer I'll bop around America hosting obstacle course races, Mud
Wow.
Girl, and a whole bunch in between. I do a ton of keynotes. So my clients include Disney and Oakley and Tropicana and American Massage Therapy Association. And so that's actually, I love race announcing. I love it. It's a 10 on a scale of
Big
10.
adrenaline though. I mean, I can just that would be
Yeah,
just incredible.
big, big fun. But when I'm doing a keynote, that's when I actually get to change people's futures. That's when we talk about health during hardship or the power of community or just, fitter professionals are more successful professionals. That's the truth. And so
Yeah.
I love the speaking thing because that's an exchange of information. I get to plant seeds in their brain that will send all those people forth to live better and longer. And so, and
It's like you're
so,
getting
so
the
I,
best of both worlds there.
yeah, yeah, I have the
Literally.
fun,
You have the
the
fun side, but
running.
then yes.
And the running that they give me 15,000 people who think exercise is a good idea. So, right there, I'm just like, okay, let's have the best day ever. And then the keynote thing. And then what else? I mean, I have the podcast and I'm writing books. So
I mean,
I'm
you're finishing your fifth book, right?
and book number 5 will come out in the fall. I'm
Oh
so
my
excited. That one will
gosh.
be a fitness book for grown-ups. So if you'd like to lose weight or maintain your weight or build strength or stamina, flexibility and decrease pain and all of these things, I'm so excited. This is the book I've been wanting to write my whole life.
I was just going to ask you out of the 5 books, what is your personal favorite?
Well, I think this will be it. So I,
Okay.
I will always have a special place in the heart. The last 3 were the Cancer Comeback
Yeah.
series. And so targeting and helping cancer patients, that's almost as good as it gets, except for this will be for everybody. And it's just my passion, fitness for all. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's great. When will that one be wrapped up? What are you thinking?
I'm really hoping for a fall release. So to me, that
Okay.
looks like October. It's a
Okay.
colossal process. I mean, it's not
Oh,
writing the book, but then the editing and the photos and the
I'm in
design.
the yes, I'm in the process right now of wrapping up my first book. So
Okay,
it
congrats.
is thank you. And I'm hoping probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, but it's I and you're on book 5, so I can't
Yeah.
so
What
wow.
is wrong with me, right?
It's well, like you
I'm a
said,
very
it's
stupid
editing
person.
and you want it to really be 100% and so yeah,
Mhm.
it's like you really want to dive into it and make sure it's as perfect can be because you are putting your stamp of approval on that. So,
Yeah, yeah, and this is the thing that I don't worry about legacy. I don't ever need anybody to think about me when I'm gone. I'm sure my kids will, but that's not the point.
oh,
It's
I think you're going to leave a pretty large
uh,
legacy behind for sure by just being you.
well, and I appreciate that, but my legacy really is about them. All the work I've done is never about me. It's always about how do I help them. And so if I've provided another resource that helps somebody pick it up and they go, oh, like weight loss is that simple? Are you kidding? And then they lose the weight. That's the legacy. It really has nothing to do with remembering Fitz Koehler. It's about how do I plant these long lasting seeds that will continue to help people. That's, you know, to me, that's the goal. That's why this book, I mean, thankfully the manuscript is done. If I got abducted by aliens or hit by a bus today, there's someone in my life that would take it
It could take that
and
and
publish it.
yes,
Yeah,
release it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's already some peace in my heart. But yeah, I mean, these books are, it, they're a big
It's a
deal.
lot.
And
It's a lot. And you're trying to fit it in here and fit it in here and just you want to
yeah,
get it out. But it's exciting too. It's such an
so exciting.
accomplishment. So I mean, congratulations. My goodness,
Thank
book 5. So that's
to you too. Do
oh
you
well,
think you'll
thank
do
you.
number 2?
Oh
Is number
yeah.
1 enough? Okay.
Yeah,
Very
no,
good.
it does kind of become a little of an addiction, doesn't it? It's like you just like, okay, there's more I want to say. I want to get it out
Yeah.
there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to book 2. But yeah, I wanna get my fingers on your book. So a few more questions I definitely I
Yeah.
want to get out to you. So obviously you're known for being incredibly motivating. Um, and
Thank you.
so, what's your go to message when someone feels like giving up on themselves, whether in health, business, or life? And I know we touched on a little bit just naturally in the beginning, but if you had to give like a go to message, and it doesn't have to be about cancer, nothing, let's just
Yeah.
say in life or their business, they're an entrepreneur. Because really, that's, this podcast it's so driven on like, let's lift people up. If they're
Yeah.
stuck in a rut and they want to launch their business and they're just like a little, they're nervous to do that, or they don't, then maybe they're just feeling a little negative, or they just don't have that, that sense of confidence. What would your go-to message be for somebody who's really just needing that?
Yeah. Control what you can when you can. There's things you can't control and you just have to let those go. The
Yeah.
things you can control, you should. And know that the people who are experiencing success, whether it's in fitness or professionally, whatever genre you're interested in, they have not been bitten by a radioactive spider. They're not a Marvel character. They're just regular people who have done what it takes to get to the next level. And so, if you're obese right now and you'd like to be fit, you see someone you think, I wish I looked like that. Well, the only thing standing between you and looking like that is discipline, time, effort, knowledge. And so those are totally attainable. The same thing professionally. You want to write a book, man. Everyone wants to write a book, they say, and then
Yep.
maybe they start writing a page and they go, well, maybe not, right?
They're like, oh,
So
this is a lot of work.
yeah, it's a lot of work, but work is, I mean, golly,
Work is
work
healthy.
is, yeah, it's so good. I mean, even, I don't know, just taking out the trash makes me feel good. I'm like, I took out the trash, I
Look what
put
I
it
just
back,
did. Yes.
hooray for me. So
I got rid of
yeah,
some clutter.
yeah, control what you can, and then know that the victim mentality sucks. It'll only drag you under. You want to drown quickly? Play the victim. Play the victim. It's gross. It's embarrassing. You should not do that. If you have failed, know that it's almost positively your fault in some regard. And if you own that, then when you're successful, you have the opportunity to own 100% of your successes. So
Big fan of that. Big fan of that.
yeah,
Know that, listen, like I really screwed this up big time, but I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to own it and I'm going to do
yeah,
better next time.
yeah, yeah. And
Rather
sometimes
than to
people,
feel sorry for yourself, the victim, like you said. Oh, that
yes.
mentality is like the worst. And being around people like that, it's very, very draining.
Well, it's funny because, us girls, right? There's a lot of that. Well, it's because I'm a woman. And, well, because I'm a
There's an
woman.
excuse
Why I
for
cry my,
everything, right?
yeah, yeah. You know who's been horrible to me? Women, mean girls, left and right, just enough already. So yeah, you're not unsuccessful because you're a woman. In fact, there's probably more people giving you the opportunity because you're a woman, filling a quota, or oh, we need a woman, let's give her a try. You know
We
what
have,
grosses me out? When people say, well, we need to we're looking for a female announcer. I'm like, well, okay, don't hire me then. Hire me if you want the best announcer. Hire
right,
me if you
right.
want the most professional, exciting experience for your runners and you're willing to pay for it. If you just want some woman, go get some vagina anywhere. You can
Yeah,
find
just
one.
go get, yeah,
Not
they're all
me.
over, right? Right.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
all
yeah,
over. But if you want somebody incredible who
yeah,
is the best, like I'm
yeah.
right here. That's
Yep.
right. I love that.
So,
I love that.
or
Well,
I
go ahead. No, please.
was just gonna say at that point, I probably just pissed off a good 40% of your listeners are like, Screw her.
No,
It's
that's no, it is, this is podcast is that's why we have podcasts, right? It's
yeah.
we want people to be their true selves
Mm-hmm.
and just I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't want it any other
Yeah.
way. And that
Yeah.
actually that leads right into my next question that I had for you is like women trying to find their voice, right? Or rebuild their strength. What practical steps would you recommend based on your own experience? And you literally just answered that, like,
Mm.
don't play the victim, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, that's part of it right there. Don't,
Yeah. Yeah, and then be who you are and know that you can't please everybody. I started learning when I was teaching fitness as a kid that, my style is high energy and silly and fun. And some people really didn't want that. They wanted to come to the gym and have like a little more peaceful. They didn't want the blaring music. And so I learned, okay, this is the way I teach. But not everybody's going to love that. And not everybody's going to love me. And that's just fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And so know that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Don't even try to please everybody because it's impossible, right? So just do you. And the people who want to buy your services or buy your products or be your friend, they will be magnetically drawn to you. And you'll be a lot more satisfied being yourself and not having to phony it up for every single person.
well, I
Whoever
mean,
you are, someone's going to love you for it.
yeah. And can you imagine, especially these days with social media the way it is and just all these
Yeah,
platforms and trying to be somebody that you're not, that would be so exhausting. Because how can you remember like, oh, I have to put on this image. I have to no. And even if you're that way, like, okay, you may have people that like you because of this, but what about all the people that would like love you if you were just yourself? And then it would be
right.
so much easier. So much
Yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah. And people will catch on if you're phony.
Oh,
I'm not going to sell who, but my daughter and I, we were talking about a talk show host that's a little over the top. And she said, do you like her because of her, she kind of lovey and gropey. And I was like, it just feels really inauthentic. It feels forced. And so I don't like it because it's not genuine. I would love a person who was genuinely like that, but I get the heebie jeebies because it
I think
just
I
feels,
probably know who you're talking about, but yeah,
yeah.
it's almost uncomfortable.
Oh, it's
To
really
it's,
uncomfortable.
it's like, oh, yeah,
That's it. I'm not against that behavior, but
yeah,
from
yeah.
her, she just isn't. It's forced, and I don't watch because of that.
And like you
So
said, people can see that a mile away, right?
I
So
think
just
so.
be yourself, and
Yeah,
big fan of that. So, what does she decides mean to you? And I love that you called it out earlier. You're like, yeah, because I
yeah,
decided, and she decides. So, was there a definite moment in your life when you decided to take your power and your path and your purpose back? And I almost feel like I can answer that for you because I've read a lot about you, obviously. I've watched your video and then listening to you. And I feel that you have been you since literally you were born. I mean, you
yeah,
just seem you have this sense of just motivation and just a good heart, good soul.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And I try to be good, right? But I'm a joy addict, and so that really steers me. Is I need to be happy, and I pursue things that make me happy. I pursue other people's joy too. I'm addicted to those things. And I'll be the court jester if it takes to get people to smile and relax. And so those are my needs. Now, I'm very human. I had an eating disorder as a teenager. And, that was one of those things that I was bulimic. And in college, it had gotten kind of bad. And I finally was able to just talk myself out of it. And what did I do? I thought, well, I had a friend down the hall who was pretty overweight, and I thought, you know what? If she gained weight, would I like her less? And I thought, no, I couldn't like her less. She's so funny and fun. She's so nice. I thought, well, if she lost weight, would I like her more? I thought, well, I don't give a rat's ass what she
Yeah,
weighs. I
yeah,
just really
you like
like her.
her. Hmm.
And then at that point, I was able to put a value on myself that I'm a nice person and a decent student and a good friend, and my appearance really isn't affecting anybody else but me. And so I can just focus on the good parts of myself and then, always try and improve the places that I need to get better. But I stopped beating myself up and I stopped being that girl who was like, am I fat? Do I look fat? I'm 40 something pounds less than I was in college, but even despite that, I was able to break through that barrier of just being kind to me first, still striving, but being kind And that has really set me up for a much, much better life. So I hope everybody out there can make a list of the things that they love about themselves. And if there's room for improvement, especially when it comes to health, I'm all for it. And I've got a ton of free resources, but just know that you deserve joy. And if you pursue it, you will find it.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, definitely yeah, you have to start out being kind to yourself first, because how
Yeah.
can you be kind to others if you don't have it within? I
Oh my
think that's,
gosh.
and forgiving yourself and just not beating yourself up. So is there like what does trigger you though to put you in a bad mood? And I know, we're all human. So are you ever like just like, I got to get out of this funk, even if it's for an hour
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and you find yourself going down there? What really gets you into that pissed off mode?
Well, pissed off, screw with my kids. You're gonna find out, right? That's
Real quick.
hashtag FAFO, right? It's interesting. I don't even know why. I just start randomly feeling sad, and I think, why is it? Now, fortunately for me, it's very short lived because I instantly take action. I feel like this weird, like, why do I feel this way? And then I go play my guitar, or I go directly outside and I hug my dogs, or I exercise. So I only allow those sad feelings to stick around momentarily
They
because
creep up and you're like, nope,
I just,
nope.
we're
Yeah.
getting rid of them. And I do, so and that's behavioral modification. That's what people need to know is, okay, I was born a joy addict. Not everybody is, but you can become one. You can turn yourself into that. And so I do think, though, not being around big groups of people. So my career is actually, it's a little like crack cocaine for me. I need those people, and I am very hands-on. My gosh, at a finish line, people come through. I might get 1,000 hugs on race day, and I'm groping people and holding their hands and running them through. And I need that. I need that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, if a few weeks go by without a race, I start, or an audience of some regard. I need them. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Those people that just that energy, that positive, like, yeah, energy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also need to be alone too. So I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm a little psycho, but like mass crowds or solitary confinement.
No,
Either way,
but when you need to make that switch, that's all that matters, right? How long have you
that's
been a
right.
vegetarian for?
The greater portion of my adult life, I think I started when I was about 20. When my kids were little, I added chicken for their convenience. I don't know why I did that. And then when I was going through chemo, I added chicken. The second I stopped chemo, and that was the last. I haven't had any more chicken since then. But there is a healthy way to have meat in your lifestyle, and there's certainly some meats that you should disregard because they're dangerous. But I love animals, and I have friends that are chickens, and so I just can't do it anymore. That was really it. I just have too many friends that are cows and chickens and pigs, and it broke my heart. So
Yeah, I hear
that's
you.
it.
I'm a vegetarian as well. And it's mainly for that reason. It's just because I love animals, and
Yeah.
no matter what it is. And yeah, I mean, and it's been probably for me, it's been close to about almost 20 years since I've eaten meat. But that's what it was. I mean, of course, I love the taste of it, right? A good steak and this and that,
Hmm.
but I can't do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever be able to again. And I mean, people that do, I'm like, my husband, of course, he's like, bring me all the cheeseburgers and this. I'm like, oh, it smells so good, but nope, can't
Yeah.
do it.
It's so funny. I always say my nose is not a vegetarian. I drive by a steakhouse, I'm like,
I
but
know. Yeah. Yeah. It's for me. I wish I could say it was the health reason, but for me, it's just more my
yeah.
love for animals. I can't do it.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you come to that point where it's a moral issue, then you can't undo it.
It is right. You
Yeah.
just can't. You can't. So I have a few rapid fire questions for
Mhm.
us.
Okay.
These are the fun ones. So um, and just quick, whatever you think is the best answer. These
Okay.
are yeah, more of a get to know you, right?
All right.
Okay, so coffee, tea, or protein shake?
Tea.
Oh, see, I
Hot.
would have thought you
Hot
would have said
tea.
protein shake. Hot tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, this is a fun one. What's your pump up song before hitting the mic or the stage?
Nothing I could play out there because it's vulgar, but Ludacris, Get Back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
Hmm.
Sneakers or heels? What's your go-to power shoe?
Heels, heels. I love. Actually, I'm gonna give you a third. Cowboy boots. Nothing
Oh,
better than cowboy boots. Yeah.
cowboy boots. Yep, we'll have to include that one.
Uh-huh.
That's a good one. If you had a superpower for one day, what would it be?
I'd be able to sing beautifully. I would love to have a beautiful singing voice, and I don't.
You don't think do you think you don't, or do you really feel you just have you been told don't
I'm
get up there
pretty
and do a
confident.
karaoke?
Yeah, it's pretty confident. It's probably a unanimous decision. I haven't taken that poll yet,
It's
but
pretty
yeah,
unanimous. I love that.
yeah,
I have always said that too. I'm like, my goodness, if because my voice is awful. There's no way. I don't even
sure.
want to sing in the shower in the car. It's not good. Um, but I always think, what a gift. Like if you just had this voice that like you're just born with this amazing voice, that would just be what a gift. So I love that answer.
Well, it's fun. I mean, maybe I sound like a jerk, but I'm great on a stage and I actually have rhythm and I'm fun. If I could sing, I could probably put on a good show, but I oh, and I have sung the anthem because the iPad died
And
and nobody liked it. I mean, well, I don't know. People were nice, but
you're like, I
I'm
really tried. I wasn't trying to,
that's right. Offend America. I was trying,
right, right.
yeah, I'm so patriotic that I refuse to allow the anthem to just die. So
You're like,
on
I'm
a
gonna give
rare
it my
occasion,
all.
yeah, it's a hard song to sing. But anyways, yeah, singing, that would be my superpower.
I'm like you too. Like I can be a backup dancer, but don't give me the microphone to sing.
Hmm.
Love it. Okay. What's one thing that people would be shocked to learn about you?
Oh God.
Putting you right out there.
Then people would be shocked to learn about me. I mean, people are often shocked that I was a kickboxer, but
How tall are
sure,
you?
5'5".
Okay. Okay. High five.
Yeah, I do enjoy some McDonald's French fries once a week. So how about that?
There you
Surprising.
go. There you go. Do you
Mhm.
pretty much eat clean all the time,
Mm,
except for those occasional splurges of McDonald's French fries?
80 to 90% of my caloric intake every day is super healthy. Lots of fresh stuff. And then there's a couple of French fries or there's a piece of chocolate every single day. If I don't have a chocolate, even a Hershey Kiss, I consider it a sad day. So yeah.
How do
Hmm.
you? And I'm kind of moving away from these, but how do you get
That's
your
okay.
protein? Like, what do you use
Uh,
typically for protein? Since
Lots
you're
of beans, lots of nuts. I do have some dairy, some cheese. What else? Beans and nuts and seeds, quinoa.
yeah, good little
Sometimes
quinoa.
if I have a bar, usually it's like a kind bar. I just like whole real ingredients. I don't
Yeah.
push supplements ever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like I'm always curious on that one because I feel like I'm always just I don't get the protein that I should,
Yeah.
so I'm always like carbs, carbs, carbs. I'm like, oh goodness.
Yeah. Gotta get it. Can of beans. I just opened a can last night. I poured half in a Tupperware and put it in the fridge, and the other half I threw in the microwave and just ate it with a
and
spoon.
they're
Beans.
filling too. So yeah,
Yeah, and they're a lot less fat than nuts are.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's actually a better choice to go the beans route, but
Versus the nuts.
you do
Yeah.
you. Hmm.
Okay, so morning workout or a late night brainstorm?
Afternoons. And my
Oh,
flexible schedule allows me to do that. Walk the dogs, work on the computer, do a podcast, go to the gym at 2 o'clock.
what is your favorite workout? Like, are
Strength
you more
training.
of strength training? Okay, I was
Strength.
going to ask, are you
Strength.
more of a okay? So you like the
Yeah.
strength? Okay. What is your personal mantra right now in 3 words or less?
Perfect is boring.
Oh, that was quick. I thought you were going to have to think about that one.
No, perfect is boring.
And these were not even pre-planned to send to you. That was a
Yeah,
quick
yeah, yeah.
that was a rapid fire, all right.
I know who I am. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. Is there anything that I didn't ask you? Because I could talk to you all day. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you would like to share? And what's the best way to get a hold of you? We'll of course have that in the
Okay.
fine print. But like, what is like anything else that I've failed to ask?
Uh, you know what? I think we've covered a lot. And if people would like more, I mean, golly, there's so much more as you've seen. So my home base is fitzness.com. That's FITZ as in zebra, NESS.com. There's a trillion resources there, free articles, free workout videos. My Instagram at Fitzness is jam packed with videos and content. And really, it's all there. Almost all of it's designed to just help you get fitter
Yeah.
live longer and make it easy, understandable, fun. The Fitness Show podcast is the thing too. So if you're not sick of my big bossy voice yet, there's more where that came from.
When are those
And
released? How often do you release your podcast?
I release them weekly,
Okay.
but I'm not on a strict schedule. I'm a little willy-nilly about it.
Okay.
So oops or sorry or perfect's boring, but
But it's
yeah,
there.
it's over like I think almost 250 episodes now. So
Oh my
there's
gosh.
plenty, and there's some really great interviews there. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here to help, and if people have questions, they can send them to me, and I'll answer. I also own one of the largest school running programs in the world. It's called the Morning Mile. It's a before school walking running program where uh, hundreds of kids each morning show up and get some great exercise in their school clothes, and
How
there's no
often? How
coaching.
often do you do that?
Daily. It's daily. So the schools manage it themselves. I help them get the program started. It's a turnkey program.
Okay.
And then the schools manage it through their PE teacher or parent volunteers. But it's a lot of fun, and it's every child's included every day, plus the faculty and the families and the bus drivers even. And I'm incredibly proud of
That I
that.
was
So if
gonna
anybody,
That is
oh,
something really to be proud of, especially, with kids these days. Not,
yeah,
you're seeing a lot that are not moving around a lot, right? Especially with video games and on their
yeah,
phones. And so,
yeah.
wow. So how often, like how many schools are a part of that?
Over 400 worldwide.
Over
So,
400.
uh, yeah, most states in the nation, and then a few countries. And it's mind-numbingly easy for a school to implement, and the outcomes are extraordinary. Just hundreds of thousands of kids have taken part, and their parents. It's, so many moms reach out and say, my kid has ADD, I need this program so the kid can get the willies out before school day begins. So that's actually a big instigator. Sometimes as principals call and they say, we need help with behavior modification and tardies, and we know that your program will fix those things. So I created the program thinking about healthy bodies, and the schools came back and said, this is really helping us create healthy minds, and modify bad behavior and so forth. And again, it's free for the student, it's free for the school. The program is usually sponsored by a local business. On occasion, a big company reaches out. We've had Under Armour reached out once and said, hey, we see what you're doing, we love it, can we sponsor 50 schools around America? And I said, okay. So then I had to find 50 schools who wanted to use the program. But
How long
it's
do they walk for? Like what is the
yeah,
typical?
they provide a 30-minute window in the morning. So if school starts at 8 a.m., usually the morning mile will go between 7:20 and 7:50. And the kids can come and go at their leisure. They don't have to be there at 7:20. They can show up at
Right.
7:30 or even at
So
7:47 and walk
just as
one
long as
lap.
you're in that window of time.
Yeah, they can walk real slow. They can run real fast. Some kids do one lap, log it, and go to class. Some kids are out there, they do 4 miles a day. We've had kids run over 700 miles in a school year, and elementary school kids do that. So, program goes from preschool through high school. And yeah, it's everybody, whether you're black, white, green, purple, Jewish, Catholic, it doesn't matter to me if you've got legs, if you're in a wheelchair. Great, come
Right.
out and work your upper body. We want all the kids, because they all deserve the opportunity to be healthy. And so,
Wow. That's
yeah,
definitely something to be proud of.
yeah, thank
And
you. And so
how many
that's,
years now has that been running?
I think I launched in 2011. So we're going on
Wow.
15. And it's morningmile.com. That's how people can learn more about that.
Oh,
Morningmile.com.
wow. That's amazing. Kudos to
Yeah, thank
you.
you.
That's
Thank you.
definitely a feel good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Wow.
it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much again. It's been such a joy getting to talk to you, and I'm gonna follow you even on. You have so many different outlets, so I'm sure those are all on your website. All of your
Well,
links and you're pretty amazing.
I appreciate it. And you're a fantastic host. So fun to talk to you. You know who made